An old Ukrainian town in the center of Europe. The border with Hungary is almost 10 kilometers from here. The first thing that catches one's attention is the architecture. The palace of Count Bathlin, the two houses, the palace of Mehesh and Kubovich, elegantly decorated buildings, a town hall, museums, squares, a unique curative thermal spring, tasty Hungarian cuisine, and intoxicating Transcarpathian wine. That is not a complete list of the reasons why it's worth coming here. It is only a 10-hour drive from Kyiv to have the opportunity to walk along the streets of this picturesque and beautiful Transcarpathian city. In addition to that, the town of Berehove is considered the wine capital of southwestern Ukraine. There are a lot of legends about our city, but Mihailo Tompa wrote the most about this wonderful city. The bulls fought on this place and dug up a treasure with their hooves. The shepherds started building our city on this site. It was then named Berehove in Hungarian, hence Berehove in Ukrainian. The Roman Catholic Church of the Exaltation of the Holy Cross is the spiritual guardian of the city. Construction of the temple began in the 11th century. On one of the stones above the northern arch, the date 1100 is carved. In 2041, hordes of nomadic Tatar tribes destroyed the building. It was restored in 1418 in the Gothic style. There's a sundial on the wall of the church. The venerable age of the temple and its unique architecture give the Francis II Rákosi Square particular importance and attract tourists. The city, Kyiv, is nearby, and the most luxurious house in Berehove, the Gentleman's Casino, is located not far from it. Today, one of the best restaurants in the city and a hotel are located in the ancient building on the Verke River. All the celebrations in the city were once held here. The small river Verke flows nearby. It is a favorite vacation spot for local residents and guests of Berehove. Walking through the streets of the city, we notice that all the street names are in Hungarian. We meet local people who greet each other and communicate mainly in Hungarian. Naturally, most of them understand Ukrainian and there is no noticeable language barrier, but this atmosphere is nevertheless very much European. The locals also live according to Hungarian time. Their clocks are set back 1 hour compared to Ukraine. There was a time when the entire territory of modern Berehove was ruled by Austria-Hungary. Even now, most of the city's population is Hungarian. The city has preserved many buildings of that period. This is the Count's Court, also known as the residence of Prince Bathlin. It is the oldest secular house in the city. The building does not look like a real palace, but the Prince of Transylvania Bathlin, who had been the king of Hungary for a period of time, lived here. Today it houses the Museum of Berehove region and the first in Transcarpathian Museum of Viticulture and Winemaking. We have entered the cellar of the Museum of Viticulture. I will tell you in more detail about the history and operation of our cellar. This is the Count's cellar, a room with a high arch. It is said that local wines were stored here in the 14th century. The walls and floor are paved with stone, and there are large wheel-shaped lamps on the ceiling. The Viticulture Museum covers an area of 160 square meters. There are a lot of various exhibits here. Equipment that was used in winemaking, vintage barrels for storing the libation, photos, a map of the vineyards dated 1884, numerous certificates and samples of wines that won many prestigious awards at international competitions. You can also see that 260 samples of the grapes that are grown on the Transcarpathian hills are presented here. A very unique map of the Austro-Hungarian monarchy, a map of the state vineyards. Interesting inscriptions can be found on the floor in this room. Some bricks bear the names of sponsors who made their contribution to the creation of the museum, as well as the names of respected winemakers of the region. The founder of this museum, Ivan Shepa, noted that anyone can make their contribution to the cause of the museum. The name of the sponsor will also become a decoration on the floor of the old cellar with a 700-year history. The most important part of the history of Berehove is winemaking. Former owners of the city supported the development of this difficult craft in every possible way. So today we're going to meet a family of hereditary winemakers. We will visit a vineyard, a wine cellar, and we'll taste real Transcarpathian wine. We will also hear about the old recipes, rituals, and customs of the Berehove winemakers that over many years were passed on from generation to generation. Hello, welcome to Transcarpathia. I invite you to come and see how we live. You will see our vineyard and taste our wine. So let's go. We warmly welcome you. The descendants of the Molnar family, which means miller in Hungarian, have long been living here in the Berehove suburb. They have been growing grapes and making wine since the olden days. Here, people are mainly engaged in viticulture and winemaking. My great-grandfather, grandfather, and father were engaged in this trade. I continue their work, and I hope that our children will also continue the family traditions of viticulture and winemaking. Josip is an agronomist by education. He once cared for a collective farm vineyard, and now he has the one he planted by himself, where he grows several grape varieties: Riesling, Italian Traminer, Zweigelt, Muscat, and a few more varieties. The winemaker pointed out that each variety of grape results in a different wine, both in terms of its color, bouquet, and taste. This cellar was built over 100 years ago. It was built by my grandfather, who was also a viticulturist and winemaker. My father continued his work, and now I am doing the same. So let's taste some wine. I mostly grow Italian Riesling. Let's see what kind of wine is in this barrel.
Riesling італійський. Це зараз подивимося, що тут у боці.
As you can see, it is good, pure and transparent. Its taste is absolutely impeccable, as it should be if properly made. This is natural wine, the way it should be. This is a 2-year-old harvest that is now ready for bottling. is interesting to see how already aged wine is being bottled.
Зараз ми знаходимося.
We're now in the room where we bottle the wine.
Розливаємо вино. Це вино.
This wine is 3 years old, made with Zweigelt grapes.
І зготовлено із сорта винограда Zweigelt. Так, зараз поставимо корок зверху.
We put the cork on top and push it down into the neck of the bottle.
На місці. Оце так робиться.
This is how it's done in small enterprises.
В підприємствах.
As you can see, they have their own bottling technology here. They even have special equipment to seal the bottles with real wine corks. The Molnar family has its own label. From what Josip told us, we learned that for wine to be well preserved, a temperature of 16 degrees above zero needs to be maintained in the room. The owner indeed takes good care of his special wine. This wine has been aging for 3 years. If anyone wants, they can come and visit me at any time and try some truly tasty wine. The family technology of making special wines improves with each generation, and Josip hopes that his children and grandchildren will continue the famous tradition of his family. Come visit us in Transcarpathia. There is very much to see here. It is a very beautiful land, so come and see it with your own eyes. In the next episode, we will continue getting acquainted with the city of Berehove. We will visit the picturesque suburb, where we will see real fallow deer and try a special national dish of Hungarian cuisine called bograc. We will also see a unique thermal spring that has special healing properties. Travel around Ukraine, discover new cities, and tell the whole world all about them and their history and culture. Let every one of your trips be cheerful and unforgettable.